Hi and welcome back to this episode of The Fan Debate, brought to you by Sky Bet. And this week the fans are going to be asking me and Scholesy some questions. Lee, Newcastle?
Yeah, what would you, to both of you, what would you do with FFP? Because it's quite, obviously it's affecting a lot of clubs. If you had a magic wand, what would you change about it?
You can answer that, Carragher.
There's definitely been a lot of frustration, hasn't it, with clubs, but
is it fair?
Maybe I'm saying this from a Liverpool point of view because we've almost been seen in the past as almost the model of to try and maybe challenge a Man City or a Chelsea in that it's not just about buying, it's about selling well as well. And it's not just like, okay, we've got loads of money, we're going to buy lots of players. It's actually not winning, being clever and cute in the transfer market. And that's what Satan teams have been. You know, they have done that. And Liverpool being one of them. I think Arsenal have done that quite well as well. And I think if we just allow everybody just to spend exactly what they want, and there's no fallback. So if you're let's say City, because Big Steve's looking straight at me, and there's no FFP at all, and Pep Guardiola comes in and he buys 5 players, they don't work, it doesn't matter because we're going to buy another 5 next season, and eventually it will work because the quality of player you're bringing in, and this could be City, it could be United, it could be Chelsea, it could be Liverpool, any of the big clubs. I like the fact that if you buy someone and it doesn't work, your judgment's been wrong, your scouting's been wrong, your system that you're playing with has been wrong. That's got to hurt you. It's got to affect you thinking, oh, we've spent that money. No one's going to buy him at the moment because he's not playing great. We're going to have to stick with him. We might be able to spend what we can spend the next season. So I think I look at it from that in terms of like management and structure of a club. And I actually think some limits on maybe spending or whatever it may be, I actually think should bring the best out in coaches. You know, so it's not always about buying players. It's about, okay, this is the team that I've got. I can't buy. We need to sell this summer. Right, how can I make this team work?
Is a points deduction fair on the fans, though? Because it's hurting the fans.
Yeah. I mean, listen, well, is it fair? What I would say on that, any punishment you could say, well, is that fair on the fans, I suppose, in some ways, but is that fair? So if there was a points deduction for Newcastle, that's because maybe you broke the rules the year before in terms of spending. But if that then got you in the Champions League or kept you up or got you in Europe and stopped another team doing that, how was it for their fans? So we had the Nottingham Forest fan on here last season, and he said, I'm glad we broke the rules because we stayed up. Yeah, okay, I get him saying that as a fan, but what about the team that went down? So there has to be some sort of, whether it's point, I mean, what do you think it should be? A huge fan? A huge fan's not going to affect you, is it?
No, it's not going to affect the big clubs, is it? Because they've got all the money in the world. So I would, if it was to happen to the next club, just ban them. You can't sign anybody for the next transfer windows. I think that's more sensible than giving Leicester, who are coming up, already a mammoth task by on -6, could be more, or Everton have been done by Forest, who's the next club. I don't think a points deduction is fair on the fans.
There has to be some form of punishment and deterrence to breaking the rules.
Yes, I agree on that.
You just go, you can't buy players anymore, then someone will go out and buy 20 players in one summer, and we don't need to buy players for the next 3 windows. And you can think about everything and go, what about the fans? Ultimately, there has to be a punishment, there has to be a deterrent for clubs breaking the rules, and it can't be, oh yeah, let's just ban them, because you can just...
I mean, that's what I would do. I would ban that.
Of course it bothers the fans, but you're also benefiting from the fact that your club's spending loads of money, and...
I wish we could.
We're
not allowed to. We're not allowed to.
Eddie Howe will become England manager.
No chance. No chance. It's not happening.
No?
It's not happening. Too much.
Well, if he makes a bad start to the season, do you think you could sack him?
I think with the structure of the ownership's changed, that's a possibility now because PIF...
So why would he stay? Why could he not walk out, or is this contract a problem? Because if he's fearing that with a new structure, new ownership, new director of football, that basically if he makes a bad start to the season, he could be out on his ear. Why would he not take the England job now?
Because we won't have a bad start to the season.
That's the end of that one.
I think I'm not confident that without the European football, I think we will get in the region of top 5.
Thanks for joining us on another episode of The Fan Debate, brought to you by Sky Bet.